Hello everybody, very quick video just to talk about my pedal board and basically to answer the frequently asked question of which order, which sequence you would put pedals in when you've got more than just two or three, and when you're using a few simultaneously. Yeah, the simple answer to that question is trial and error. If you spend some time trying different pedals, different sounds, you're going to find the sound that suits you, because obviously it is really a personal thing. What sort of sound you're trying to get, there aren't really any rules. But I just thought I'd make this video just to give maybe some of you a starting point if you're kind of new to this whole thing. Yeah, I've basically pretty much used up all the pedal space I've got on this small board, so I've put the power source, the power packs underneath here. Obviously the power is a very important aspect to it. You need to have something that's powering enough, sending out enough power to power all your pedals, because if you're going to have a little bit less electricity coming in, or if your power pack is a little bit overwhelmed with all the pedals, you're not going to get the sound. It's going to lack. It's good if you can get power packs as kind of each jack is separated, so the circuit is separated, because then they tend to make less noise. But having said that, I mean, I don't have that with my power pack, and I don't have much interference with this pedal board, so like I said, it's all a question of trial and error, just to see what suits yourself, you know. Anyway, so I start with the wah-wah. I always have done. The wah-wah seems to be the best place to put a wah-wah, in my opinion, is at the beginning. Also because the wire is then at the side, and if you rather than being up here somewhere, which is a little bit awkward. Then from the wah-wah I go into the tuner. Now the tuner, doesn't really matter where you put the tuner, as long as if you put it at the end of the chain, you know, for reasons of space or whatever, make sure that all your pedals are switched off when you're tuning, especially the modulation of pedals like the chorus and things like that, because they're going to affect the signal going into the tuner and not give you the accurate tuning that you want. I've also got the power pack on here for the MM4, this blue one, because I don't have any more space. I don't really want to make my pedal board any bigger, because then it's going to be more hassle to carry about. And then I have to buy a bigger bag for it and all that sort of nonsense. Anyway, from the tuner I'm going into the octave. Now the octave, a lot of people say the octave should go after the distortions or the fuzzes or overdrives. I tried that didn't really work for me. I found that it was a little bit messy. It was harder to sort of, it wasn't very subtle, and I couldn't really control it as much. But other people might prefer it on the other side of the distortions. It's all a question of what sort of sounds you want to create. Then from the octave I'm going into the blues driver, which is my main sort of rhythm overdrive for, you know, getting some nice crunchy chords and riffs. Now what I do is I've got these two next to each other. The next one is the turbo overdrive, which I basically use as a solo booster. So if I've got the blues driver switched on, what I do is I press in the middle and it simultaneously turns off the blues driver, and then I turn on the turbo overdrive, which I've got set to a little bit more gain, a little bit more volume, a little bit more sustain, so it's a bit more screamier for solos. And then just turn it back onto that, and it cuts the power a little bit, or the gain, should I say, because obviously if you're playing rhythm with 3 or 4 strings, and then you're going from rhythm to solos, you're then going normally to 1 string, you're gonna lose a bit, so you have to boost that a little bit. There's different ways of doing this. Some people use the main distortion, like the rhythm distortion, and then put this on as well and set it up a bit different. I find it's easier to do this, to have that on, and then just, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just my personal preferences. Okay, then I go from the turbo overdrive, this one, I go into the fuzz war, which is a bit of an animal, that pedal. It's got extreme amount of gain and output. Very nice fuzz pedal, I like it a lot, but obviously it doesn't fit to everything you play, depending on what you play, of course. I mean, it's great for stoner rock and stuff like that. It's a really good pedal, but anyway, I go from that into the modulation unit here, the Line 6 MM4, and a lot of people say that this, well, I've heard that people have said the modulation, you can put it before the distortions, before the overdrives. I tried that, I wasn't very happy with it. It was a little bit messy and a little bit uncontrolled, sort of like the octave on the other side. So I've now put it here, and it works for me. From there I go into the chorus, because that's also a modulation effect. The Line 6 MM4 also has a chorus feature, but it doesn't sound quite as nice as the C3. So I've used the MM4 for different stuff, like, you know, the Leslie rotary thing and the tremolo and vibrato and phaser, and it works well. It's an excellent unit, this Line 6 MM4. It's very versatile and pretty easy to use, which is good because I'm not very good at using complicated stuff. Anyway, from the chorus, I've going then into the delay. Like I said, people try different things. You should also experiment. It's a lot of fun to experiment, try out different things, see what happens, see what sounds you get. This is basically the sound I'm happy with, and it works for me. The setup, should I say. Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, one thing is I tend to use a lot of Boss pedals because, first of all, I think they work. The main reason is I think they work very well together. This is another aspect. You can try different pedals from different makes. You know, there's a lot of good pedals out there. Most pedals are great. You know, I mean, but some of them don't work together very well. In my opinion, I've tried MXR pedals with Boss pedals and different things. You know, TC Electronics, all these different makes. I'm not saying anything against these makes. They're all great. They're all wonderful pedals. But my personal opinion is some of them didn't work with other pedals. So I thought, well, I'll just try using all the Boss. And I personally think they kind of work very well together. The other thing is they're very easy to use, obviously very reasonably priced, because with some pedals you can go into some ridiculous money, which I personally don't think, unless you've, you know, maybe if you've got the money to spend, that's fair enough, but it's not really necessary. The Boss pedals I find very easy to use. Like I said, I'm not really somebody that likes to have a overdrive pedal with 7 or 8 knobs on it, where you're spending the whole time tweaking to get that perfect tone. I find the 3-knob thing with the Boss pedals is perfect for me. I don't have to think too much, and I get the sound I want. Yeah, pretty much that's the setup. Like I said, wah-wah into the tuner, into the octave, into the blues driver, the turbo overdrive and the fuzz, then the Line 6 modulation, then the chorus, and then the delay. I never actually use any of the overdrives or the fuzz at the same time. I'll only ever use the blues driver or the turbo overdrive or the fuzz war. But like I said, other people do it different. I also like these Boss pedals because the switches are so big. You can't, you know, when you're on a stage doing a gig, you can't sort of mess up. These sort of ones like this are a little bit more. You've got to hit it a bit more exact. But yeah, like I said, it's down to trial and error. Try out different things. See what works for you. The other thing is, you have to remember, whatever sound you get, it changes depending on where you are. So if you've got yourself a really nice tone with one of these pedals, and you think, yeah, that sounds great at home, it's obviously very easy to get a nice sound at home because it's just you. in your bedroom or whatever. As soon as you get out there in a band environment and the drums start hitting and the bass starts thumping and singer and the other guitar, whatever you might have, keyboards, the sound changes for your guitar. So you'll have to readjust that for the different environments you're in. That's why I like these Boss pedals, because I find them very simple to sort of just turn the knobs, and you can sort of dial in a great tone quite easily, really. But yeah, what else? That's it, really. Well, I hope this video's been of use to somebody, or maybe more than just one person. If you got any questions, or if you want to comment, or you want to like or dislike or whatever, subscribe. Yeah, I'll be happy to hear from any of you. Well, have a nice day, and in another video I'll fire up this pedal board and show you exactly what it does and how I use it and the different sounds I can get. Yeah, other than that, take care, see ya.